With basketball and the TurboGrafx, you only really have two choices. TV Sports Basketball, which attempted a more realistic approach, and Taking It to the Hoop, an earlier release that went the opposite way, with goofy sprites and simplistic gameplay. Even though the manual says, "Get ready for the most realistic video basketball game ever," it's really not. But honestly, I always kind of enjoyed this lighthearted, simple game of b-ball. Although, I could have done without that. Double Dribble. Oops, wrong game. Taking It to the Hoop is a very early TurboChip release. In fact, this developer also created other basketball games, such as Ultimate Basketball for the NES. Well, in this game you have three main choices. One-player mode, two-player mode where you compete against a bud, and demo, which allows you to sit back and watch the computer play against itself. Has anyone ever actually done this? Then we move on to the game selection screen, which includes Tournament, where you play against 8 different teams, League, where one team takes on all other teams at one time, and Exhibition, where you play one game only. Man, the first two sound like too much work, especially without a password system, so let's just pick the last one. Even though there is no NBA license, we do have familiar cities like New York, Chicago. Then you change the starting lineup, players position an offensive or defensive formation. Now the game begins, and you will find it, well, very simple. Pressing button 2 twice shoots the ball. Button 1 passes. Pressing run pivots. Pressing button 1 attacks or steals the ball. And button 1 also changes the player you control on defense. During the dead ball period, you can enter the changing player's position screen. The characters do get tired, so you'll want to do this often. The statistics for each player are pretty detailed, especially after you read the manual to figure out what the hell these numbers mean. But, you know what I like to do during the dead ball period? This. The camera moves back and forth following your players until you enter a zoomed-in mode. This occurs when you are directly beneath a basket and make the player jump. Using the directional pad and hitting the button at the right time makes this moment controllable as you accurately try to make a dunk or prevent one. This is a fun little double dribble style moment. Kind of. The screen also changes into free throw mode in case of a foul. Here you need to hit button 2 to release the ball when the gauge reaches the red area. And man, it's tough. Come on, come on, come on. Ah! There we go. That deserves a celebratory spin. The players with their goofy, oversized heads and comic-like design really make for a pleasing look. The graphics are well detailed, and the basketball is nicely rounded and beach ball colored. What? You even notice that the heads match the individual character stats. The sequences that zoom in are a nice touch, happen quickly, and are also pretty detailed. The cartoony nature of this game really works well and adds to an overall fun personality. The in-game music is actually kind of catchy, and the rest, well, not too bad. The sound effects include basic cheers, ball dribbling, and squeaky shoes. Well, not really squeaky. It's more like chirpy. Yeah, let's move on. The controls are nothing groundbreaking, but they do feel pretty good. They are very simple, and you will catch on really fast. Timing a dunk isn't hard, and hitting three-pointers actually works quite well. Also, you can fake a pass if you like, and they will often fall for it. Haha. Suckers. I do tend to lose track of my blinking character when he's bunched up in a crowd, and that part of the game isn't as smooth as I would like. Trying to attempt a steal requires some major button mashing and a lot of praying. However, the computer character can steal the ball all the time, which seems a bit unfair. I do wish the game took advantage of that 5-player multi-tap instead of only using 2. Rotating and swapping out tired players seems to happen a bit more than it needs to. And I wish you could decrease the time for each quarter, because that 12 minutes tends to drag. Also, may I just say, those cheerleaders are weird. But as a whole, taking it to the hoop is a fun, little, simple diversion. It doesn't break any new ground, really, and has some definite flaws. But if you're looking for a lighthearted and fun 1- or 2-player basketball match with some neat zoomed-in sequences, then swish! Snag some Taking It to the Hoop. Oh, and one more thing. Yeah, there we go. Ball. For a sports title that feels somewhat early generation, Taking It to the Hoop packs a little bit of fun. The game is not for everyone, but I do have to round up a bit and mildly recommend it for anyone wanting to take the old beach ball for a spin. Ah, spin, you get it? What can I say? I love that part.